Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Apollyon back with some legacy of Discord. But as always, before we start, do check our page on the Facebook. It's called LOD Community. You can go to the search bar on the Facebook and type LOD Community. You can come here and find me and also talk with me and ask questions. And now let's get this video started. So lots of people out there always asking me how to increase the BR, but my answer is always the same. Don't go for the BR, go for the stats like special attributes or the rare attributes. For example, if you go into your character here, we have the basic stats here which will increase your BR. If you want to increase your BR, you can increase your basic stats and your BR will go up, but that will not make you any stronger. What we need to create our character stronger is the special attributes and the rare attributes. The most important ones that we have here are the total damage and total damage reduction. After is the extra damage and the extra damage reduction, and then is critical damage and critical damage reduction. Skill damage and skill damage reduction is also very good, but there are many ways you can get this, and you don't even have to focus on these two. You will always be getting these two. Whenever you will go for the rare attributes, you will always end up getting these, and I will show you guys how can you get lots of these rare attributes in this video. So yeah, let's get this started. Now let's get to the Ratwing tab here. So one of the best ways to get lots of rare attributes is the Ratwing amplifier. You can get lots of critical damage reduction, extra damage and extra damage reduction from wings here. You can get a lot of raise here. A lot of people out there sometimes make a mistake of going with the wings, which gives you loss of HP, lightning resistance or anything else. It gives you a lot of BR, but it does not make your character any stronger. At the end of the day, you need the rare attributes like extra damage reduction, critical damage and critical damage reduction to make your character stronger. Otherwise it will not work. So I highly recommend you guys going with the wings that gives you all the rare attributes that I mentioned here: extra damage reduction, critical damage and critical damage reduction. These two here are not really that important. They both gives you just basic stats, so you can go with the Ratwing amplifier for the rare attributes. Next is the weapons here, which you can go and get a lot of rare attributes here. This one on the top gives you damage reduction. It does not say here the damage reduction, but it gives you the damage reduction. And this one here, it gives you the extra damage. This one gives you the critical hit damage, and this one here gives you the critical damage reduction. I don't go for the mid one here because it just consumes a lot of resources here and does not give you anything good. So always go for these four here: damage reduction, extra damage, crit damage and critical damage reduction. You can see I have the same setup in almost all the weapons here. Next, you can also get some rare attributes from your wings emblems here. You can get extra damage reduction, critical damage and critical damage reduction emblems here, but you have to reforge those, and you can only reforge those emblems on the epic ones here, which means they only get rolled on the purple one. As you can see here, on epic only extra damage reduction, critical damage and critical damage reduction. So you need the purple emblems or higher quality emblems to roll these for emblems here. So the next tab that we have is the pets one. So whenever you go for the red pet, always check your affinity tab here. If the pet you are getting is like gonna work with the other pets you have, always check the affinity here. You can get some extra damage and damage reduction from activating the red pets. So always check for the affinity in your pets before you go for the pet you are looking for. Also, you can get some of the rare attributes from like pets grace. If you go to the grace here, the first one gives you some basic stats, but once you get to the purple here, purple grace, you get some rare attributes here, critical damage and some extra damage and more critical damage and damage reduction if you can like reach the red one. I won't recommend this for like new players out there. Don't spend anything on the pet grace. Go for some other features that I will show in the video. This one can be a bit expensive for new players, but in a long run you can slowly build your pet grace, so it's not a big deal. But for new players, don't focus too much on the pet grace here. Try to get more pets activated that will give you actually more better stats out there. Next is the shield feature that we have here. Upon activating these shield, you will get a lot of skill damage and skill damage reduction from all these shields here. They gives you a lot of skill damage and skill damage reduction, and you can also get some, I would say, a lot of extra damage and extra damage reduction here from the shield affinity here. But a lot of players out there get confused by this, how it works. A lot of people think the first one will give you like 20% attack and 10% damage and then damage reduction, and the next one will add another 30%, 16% and so on. But it does not work like that really. The first one gives you 20% attack, 10% extra damage and 10% damage reduction, and once you reach to the level 3 affinity, it will like increase 10% attack, gives you 6% more extra damage and 6% more damage reduction. It's the same with the other one here. If you go to the red one here, first one will give you the 30% attack, 15% damage, extra damage, 15% damage reduction. If you reach the third affinity, it will add 15% attack, 9% extra damage and 9% extra damage reduction. So yeah, that's how it works. It does not give you the whole thing, just add up some more to your total. So yeah, now let's do the next one, which is the Mecha Weapons. These weapons can be very strong. Upon activating these, you can get like some rays here from the weapons. Each weapon gives you something else. Some of these you have to purchase, other you can like get from the shop here, especially the purple one. And you can get some rares out of these. And when you go into the affinity here for the mecha weapon, you get a lot of like rare attributes here. I would suggest going for the level 5 affinity, but it's not that easy. It takes a lot. Even I don't have all 5 myself. So yeah, these weapons are one of the best way to get a lot of rare attributes, and you will really like feel stronger once you activate these and start upgrading and get more affinity out of here. So yeah guys, mecha weapons are very important for building a strong character. You will need these weapons if you want to like build a strong character. And now let's go to the gems tab here. Gems are one of the best way you can get a lot of rare attributes. Attack and the HP gems are the best in my opinion, because from the attack you can get the critical damage as well as the total damage. From HP you can get the critical damage reduction and total damage reduction, which is the best in my opinion. After you can like go with the element or magical defense or physical defense, is really up to you. And you can also like enhance these gems here with the gems essence you get. Getting these gems to level 5 is a sweet spot, I would say, for most player out there. After it will get like really expensive. It will require 1000 gems essence to like increase one level. So yeah guys, gems very important, so always go for the gems whenever you can. And now let's move to the next tab. Next we have the class promotion here, which I already maxed out. I won't suggest this option for the new players as it can like consume a lot of diamonds, but level 30, level 35 is a good spot for all players out there, even for the new players. Every 5 level you can like get some total damage and total damage reduction, which is pretty good, I would say. Even having like some of it from class promotion can like give you some edge on other players. And you can also go to the Rattler here. The Netherite staff, it gives you the 20% total damage and total damage reduction, and it comes with the critical and resilience specialist attribute, which is very good, and it has the best staff aura hands down right now in the game. So this staff is expensive, but it's totally worth it. Now let's go to the next tab. Is the relics here. Relics can give you a lot of critical hit damage and critical hit damage reduction. It's a good way to obtain a lot of stuff here. And you can maybe get some special attributes here on the last slot. But yeah, for the critical hit damage and critical hit damage reduction, relics can be pretty useful. You can like use these, and you can also use some of your national treasure currency to get these fragments, which is a good way to get some of these attributes. So yeah, relics are useful really, and you can like slowly work on these. No need to like rush it, but it's a good feature that you can use. And the next tab is the dark enchant. Here we have, you guys can get some special attributes here all freely now. As you can see on the right, I have 860 stones that I got off freely. Dark enchant is a good way to get a lot of rares now, and all freely. You can buy the dark enchant stones from the bluff shop here daily. Don't go for the title, it does not give you any good thing. It's all 5% basic attribute, so it's not worth it. Getting the title is not worth it. Always go for the dark soul stones, so you can like go for the dark enchant. And now let's go to the other feature that they added now recently. Guardian Sanctuary is a good feature now that you can use. You can almost get all the orange and the purple item freely now. The red ones are on the recharge, but for the purple and the orange one you can get freely if you like use your pets and ask your friend to borrow your pets. You can get all these freely and get a lot of skill damage, special attributes, extra damage reduction, critical damage reduction. A lot of stuff like this you can like get from here now, and you can get all this like freely. You don't even have to spend your diamonds. In time you will unlock everything if you keep on using your pets and ask your friend to borrow your pets, and you can get all these items freely. It's just a matter of time. And now let's go to the other tab. So Guardian Century, a very good way to get a lot of skill damage, extra damage reduction, and critical damage reduction. And now let's go to the next tab. So this is one of my favorite features to get a lot of rare attributes. The left side gives you offensive stats and the right side gives you the defensive stats. So the crystal gives you attack, extra damage and critical damage, and for the level 7 enhance it gives you total damage. And same for the holy grail here, it just gives you more stats. And for the compass you can get attack, HP, damage reduction, critical damage reduction and total damage reduction. Same for the sage here, it's a defensive stat here, or defensive stats for the sage here. And there is another thing here that you guys can do. If you upgrade your purple patch to level 5 and you have like level 5 crystal and level 5 compass, you can like click here and see you will also get some extra damage, critical damage, damage reduction and critical damage reduction, which is a good way to get a lot of rays. And I'm going to leave some notes on your screen so you guys can see how many fragments you need to reach level 7 slots on crystal and the compass. So this is it for the video guys. These are some of very good ways you can get a lot of rare attributes and create a very strong character. And yeah guys, I'm signing off now and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Till then, have fun and bye guys.